emails that she saved for me, so that, you know, when I'm really, really old, I can pull them out and read them in my rocking chair. Pardon me?
So you can remember your life.
Exactly, exactly. So I can reflect. Question? Somebody? Yes.
This is like for me. How do I explain to a non-anime, non-sci-fi grandparent the reason why he should bring me to us?
Is he here?
No, he left.
Oh, how would you explain it to this person, huh? Here's what I would do. I would find something that your grandfather liked when he was young and compare it. You know what I mean? It's like when I try to explain to friends of mine, like friends of mine at church, who have no knowledge of anime whatsoever, right? And I'll say to them, you know, you remember how everybody knows about Star Trek conventions and people that dress up in costumes and they go to these conventions and they want to see William Shatner or Leonard Nimoy or people that were on the show and they sign autographs and they do Q&As on, oh yeah, sure, I've seen Trekkies or I know about that. I'm like, yeah, it's like that. And then I'll also use, you know what's another analogy that I use? NASCAR. Okay, NASCAR is huge, right? I mean, huge. There are millions of people that live and die by NASCAR, right? You could be the greatest NASCAR driver on the planet, and I wouldn't know, because I don't follow that. So anime, I also kind of use that as an example. It's like, just because I don't know anything about it doesn't mean that it's not this really fun, huge, cool thing that a lot of people are into. And you know what else I'd do? I'd find a really cool show that maybe your grandfather would like the story. Maybe not crazy fighting, magic powers, schoolgirls kind of thing, but something that maybe might be, what would be a good one? Like a really, like, you know, like a really great story.
Like
and just, like Full Metal Alchemist, yeah. Well, I didn't want to say that, but since someone said it, you know, or something that, or even just pick a couple of episodes that are particularly poignant and powerful, and say, you know what, you love me, don't you, Gramps? And I go, sure I do. And you say, well then, watch this with me. And just, you know, just let it in, enjoy it. And I'll bet you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. And you know what else? For love of you, he'll be more open to it, you know, because he loves you. He'll probably, but find something that he liked, you know, and compare it to things. So when you were young, Gramps, when you were my age, Gramps, what did you like? You know, what kind of things were you excited by? What got you jazzed, you know? What did you spend your time doing? Making things? Did you build models? Did you play sports? What did you like to do? Well, remember that feeling, Gramps? That's the exhilaration I get from this. And he'll go, oh, okay. Question? Yes, sir.
On Funimation's website, there's an address where you can send a voice demo in if you live in the Texas area and all these conditions. Do you know of anybody who's ever gotten an audition based off of that?
I don't, but then I wouldn't know about that. I mean, I don't know anything about that side of it. I'm sure that probably there are, because I mean, why waste the time to put you know what I'm saying? Why waste the time to put an address up and actually, when you know people are going to send in tapes, right? So now what do you do with all these tapes? If you have no intention of doing anything, I mean, that's just causing yourself a lot of unnecessary trouble, you know? I mean, who wants a pile of tapes sitting around if you're not going to listen to them? So just take the address down, you know? So I'm sure that there are people. I will tell you this though. Let me tell you guys something. This is it's a cruel reality. Okay, when I started voice acting over 10 years ago, anime was very small, and it was a little niche, kind of a subculture of people that liked this real small little layer of animation called anime. And I was very blessed. I give all the credit to God for the opportunity to get into this business when it was very small. And ADV could fit on this stage. It was literally a couple of studio rooms with equipment, and the people that ran it loved anime, and they just wanted to do this. And they were looking for actors, and so I was fortunate to be able to be one of the first handful of people that they employed on a regular basis. Now, anime is huge. It has grown so much. Somebody told me that the waiting list at some studios just to audition. Like you could sign up to audition for an open call audition. And there was a time a year or so ago where the waiting list at ADV was 2 years long. That's just the reality of it, you know? And that's just to audition. And what ADV would do, I can't speak for Funimation, but what ADV does is they'll, every month or so, they'll plan one evening of open auditions. And they'll call in the top 20 people on the list, and they'll have them audition. Not for a specific character, but to see if that person has any affinity for this particular kind of work. Because believe it or not, it's interesting. It's very, it's a niche kind of work. There are a lot of actors. How many of you guys have seen animated movies in the theaters where they hire big name actors and they stink as a voice actor? It's horrible. Why is that? Because their talent is not in their voice. Their talent is in the cute little facial expressions they make, the way they communicate with their body language, personality things in their acting style that come through visually but do not come through with their voice. So when you just record their voice, it's flat as a pancake. It doesn't, no emotion, no power. So the skills required to voice act are somewhat different than the skills required to just act. However, having said that, every voice actor I know is an accomplished actor first. All of them, literally with one exception. All the voice actors I know have a huge, extensive background in theater or on-camera acting, stage. They've been doing it for a long time. Many of us have degrees in theater. We've been doing it a long time. So there are basic foundational principles about creating a character and communicating a character that you learn from acting. But when it comes to voice acting, there are additional tools and skills that you need. And some people have a real natural ability at it. Some people, you get into the booth and they sound natural, they sound relaxed, they sound like they're actually talking and they're communicating. And some people are just a little more stilted and their performance isn't quite as fluid and emotional and communicative, you know? And you know what, a lot of them are musicians too. There is something, and I can't quite describe it, but there's something about voice acting that's very rhythmic. I can't even explain it. Some people can watch a scene, an anime scene, and you know, this is all you're getting, right? You're seeing the mouth move, and you gotta fill it. Some people can do it so well, and I mean like on the fly, change a line, somehow, because they just knew they were going to end up short. They knew that their line was going to end before the guy stopped flapping. And on the fly, in the middle of a sentence, they will change it and add 2 words, and it's perfect. How did they do that? How do they know to do that? It's just a skill. Some people start trying something and they're naturally gifted at it. Some of you are great artists. Some of you draw and paint. Sing, play an instrument, write stories, and the first time you did it, there was something about it that clicked with you, and you're like, I'm good at this. Wow. It took my friend 6 months to draw something this good, and look at this, I just started. You have this natural ability in that area. So, it's the same with voice acting. I was told once that for every 100 people that audition, they may find 5 that seem to really have a